And so now we will leave the land of reality and move on to the land of dreams.
Oh my god. Not a clown, Theora.
Okay, listen. So we're moving into basically non-canon or crack ships. And the reason, if you're listening and don't know why they're screaming, is because the slide pictures a clown, because only clowns come up with these crack ships, and you clown your heart out for these ships that aren't actually happening at the point in time you're clowning about them. So crack ships, non-canon ships, are an honored queer tradition dating back to the days of yore, when crack ships were the only queer ships we had that were built on subtext and a dream, because things like the Hays Codes existed, which means you couldn't have queer characters unless they were being portrayed as villains, or you couldn't have queer relationships. All you had was subtext. Go watch Xena if you don't know what I'm talking about. Like,
sure.
That's all you're allowed to have. So, like, crack ships at one point in time, or dream ships, were like literally all we were allowed to have. So it's a time-honored tradition. I think they're fun. So let's get into it. We'll start with one I know you both love, which is this one.
Chloe and Becca from Pitch Perfect. The minute that Chloe steps into Becca's shower, there's no other way that they can't be queer.
There's no heterosexual explanation.
They came to the freaking precipice of just the queer birder.
Yeah, they definitely did that in the third season. Because there is a take where they kissed, but they didn't.
There is, and then they didn't put it in. Anyway, moving on. So this movie and
there's movies.
3 movies.
Well, I'm saying that this movie sent me on a journey, because although this was the original ship that I got into from this, I didn't end up with them as my Pitch Perfect OTP.
Ooh.
Yeah. So if you ever find this, good luck finding it. There's fan fiction out there that I wrote with Chloe and Aubrey.
You just gave Kaitlynn a challenge.
Chloe and Aubrey fan fiction is what I wrote.
Oh, all right.
So I wrote both ships.
That's the blonde, right?
That's Anna Campbell's.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's also plausible. That's a big one as well.
Yes. So that was, and there's a very epic fan fiction that is a Chloe, Becca, and Aubrey endgame.
You know what? As long as it's queer, I'm good.
It's very queer.
All it takes is the glance and a shower together, and a ship is born.
Seriously, like, the way that Chloe looked at Becca,
you could
not
the
friendly.
whole time. The scenes that they put in, just
and then they really played into it, and
they played into it hardcore. It was rude.
At least give us the scene where they kiss as an outtake or something. Come on now.
Deleted scenes. The payoff. We never got it. It's rude. Damn it. They'll forever just be fan fiction.
I think they were one of my first. I don't know if it was the first, though. I think Pretty Little Liars was first because I was obsessed with that show. But they were very close to the beginning.
I just can't with the amount of what the fuck.
I didn't understand queer baiting at the time. I was just like, I want to see them happy. I will read fan fiction.
The way that she looks at Becca the entire movie, is obviously gay as hell.
Yeah, like
there's like boob touching and stuff. Like it's not subtle.
Also,
that Amy should have said, "Let's be honest," when Chloe was talking.
Exactly. Thank you.
I love that fucking line.
I'm still really upset about the fact that they gave Becca. I'm just gonna say it. Jesse was a terrible. I just did not like him. He was boring. Fair. He was not at all. I just didn't like him. I didn't think he was good enough love interest for Becca. Chloe was.
After the first season, they kind of like sidelined him, right? Because
first movie. It's not a season.
Sorry, I'm so used to talking about TV.
Yeah, pretty much. Like he doesn't really show up, especially in the third one. He's not even like.
Yeah, because
they go.
I forget what the seasons are. When isn't like Snoop Dogg in one of them? Which one is he in?
This wasn't Snoop Dogg. It was
I don't know who these people are.
The
when
third
is the Christmas? Is that the third one?
Christmas.
The Christmas song. Here
comes it's the third. Claus. Well, they go on a USO tour.
Yeah.
And it's what is his freaking name?
The second one has the Germans in it.
Yeah. That's when they go to the World Championships.
All I know is we get Haley Steinfeld at some point.
Yeah, Haley. I was so against Haley in the beginning.
That was the second one where you get
the second one.
She joined, and now I love her. I'm so glad she's in it. And then hold on. I know that this is about ships, but like they did Haley so dirty in the third movie. They gave her nothing.
That's dumb on their part.
Oh my gosh. Very dumb. Then I got pissed that they didn't give her anything. Anyway, that's it. That's all I'll say. But Chloe and Becca, yes, they belong together.
They do.
The end.
All right, the end. So we'll move on to probably a ship that only I know.
I saw that when I was researching.
Have you seen Hannibal?
No.
Okay. So I'm not a horror person at all. The only reason I ended up here is because this is Hannibal and Will from the show Hannibal are the male version of Villanelle and Eve. And I heard this comparison multiple times. And then I was like, is it? Except Villanelle, and it is. Except here's the difference. Villanelle and Eve from Killing Eve are textually queer and into each other. But Hannibal and Will are the subtext version. But it's the same freaking plot. So if you like Killing Eve and you're like, feel a hole in your heart like I do for that kind of ship, go watch the show. Because not only is it the same kind of, cop against assassin kind of deal, it's basically the same fucking show. It's just with these two guys, and their subtext is crazy, and their chemistry is also crazy. Hannibal and Will. Beautiful. Love it.
Then go watch Tom and Jerry.
No. Then go leave again. Because, it's the same thing. It's just with these two guys, and it's...
I'm just stressed now.
All right, so I'm going to move on to a more recent ship, because we've been talking about ships in the past. This is something that just popped up a few days ago. So if you haven't been watching the Disney Plus show Ashoka, go watch it, because there's a ship of dreams that just appeared in episode 4 that just released. By the time you get this, we'll be a couple episodes past that in the show. It's doing weekly releases, but it's basically a show that follows Anakin Skywalker's former Padawan / learner or whatever, Ashoka, who's a Jedi, and it's post all the movies, all of them, and the something LGBT is happening with Ashoka's former Padawan Sabine and Shin, who's this dark Jedi, not a Sith Lord, but a dark Jedi, and they're both learners. And they did the thing that I love, is they stared at each other while holding swords, and I was like, what is this? And thus a ship was born. And so at this point, spoiler, Shin has Sabine in custody, so they have to go on a trip together. So it's a good enemies to lovers thing. And I love it. And I'm sure there's fan fiction that I can't wait to go find very soon, because this just happened.
My favorite thing after watching a show is going to the fan fiction. I'm like, I have to binge watch a show so I can get to the fan fiction so I can read what I want to happen.
Right.
The possibilities. So this is my new ship of dreams. It just came to me the other day. I see the vision. Will Disney go there? Who the fuck knows? Doesn't matter. They stare at each other holding swords, and a ship was born.
It's there for Thee.
It's there. I'm not the only one. I saw a Twitter post that was like, oh, the fan fiction that's about to start happening. And I was like, let's see, this person understands. So check out Ahsoka, because these two, this is a top tier crack ship if I ever saw one. All right. So we'll move on to a crack ship we actually created and started talking about on this podcast way back when, which is from Motherland, which was Adil and Gregorio. And we talked about them a lot because not only do they have insane chemistry with each other, they deserve better than like the women that have been treating them like shit in this show. So I think they're better off together.
That's so true. Standpoint. I wasn't part of these discussions, but they would treat each other better.
The ships between like cis men and women in this show needed to be broken up, and we need to redistribute. That's basically our decision. So,
yep. No, these two, Adil and Gregorio, they would do way better. I think. Personally.
Agree. Personally. Agree.
Them. All right. Lastly, and certainly, but not least.
Are we sure?
Actually, it's not lastly. So let's get into probably one of our favorite sapphic crack ships. That should have been a fucking ship, because what were the writers thinking?
Should have been canon.
Riley and Abby from Happy Season.
They have more chemistry than Abby and Harper.
Abby and Harper were in an abusive relationship that we're supposed to find charming, and then Riley walks into the picture and makes way more sense for Abby.
They get along so much better. They're supportive of each other. They're not hiding each other.
No, Riley is immediately supportive of Abby, understanding, can like read her emotions, and like they're hot together. Look at them. Like, come on.
I mean,
come on now.
They have the same.
How are you thinking, Clea? Damn. Some words. Love you.
Can we have a discussion about how this should have been the ship? Like, if you had ended the movie after they met, I would have been like, okay, I see it. I'm fine with this.
The happy ending was when they were at Christmas drag show or whatever.
Yeah,
it there. Like that makes sense.
That could have been the end of the movie.
That was the end of the movie.
Here comes Santa.
So we did forever about this. Like, I think the whole movie when we were reacting to it, we were literally just ranting.
If you want to hear more about our thoughts on this ship, just watch our reaction video.
Literally just about them. They make way more sense together, so we won't beat the dead horse with the stick. Okay, now the last ship, which this will make Kaitlynn laugh, but I had to put it in here, which is okay. Which the crack ship from XL Kitty is the Tree Love ship, which is the cherry blossom tree and Kitty's mom. And this is the fucking photo. What is this photo? Why did she keep this? So anyway, if you haven't watched the show, the premise of the show is based on like Kitty's mom passed away. She went to the school in Korea. Kitty's in America, and Kitty ends up going to the school to get a boy, but she's also under the guise of like, my mom was there and I can get closer to her. So she goes through her mother's photos that were like analog photos taken by a point and shoot camera that she kept. As you can see in this photo, if you're looking at this, it was kept covenantly in like a photo book of mom with whoever she was in love with at the time, who's hidden by a tree. So it just looks like mom is happy with this tree. And it's this center point of who is this person? But my question is, why, mom, did you keep this fucking photo? Because it's a terrible photo. Like, just retake the photo. What is this? So it started this whole tree lore that we went into in all of those episodes and the reaction videos. And so
we have merch too.
We have merch, Tree Love merch that came from this fucking photo. And so this is a crack ship that we made merch out of. So I had to include it.
Can't believe it.
It's a crack ship for obvious reasons.
Because we have to be on crack.
Don't do drugs, children.
At least the ones that Dr. T and Kaitlynn were on.
We were not on drugs.
Look at this.
Can we do an honorable mention, crack ship?
Yeah, do it.
I just want to, because you wrote a fan fiction about them.
We're gonna get to them.
Oh, why did I not see that?
We are gonna move over into, okay, so this ends the hour ships, things we've talked about, things we wanted to enter, and we're gonna move into the ships that our lovely listeners and friends have submitted. We're gonna start with canon ships and then do crack ships, and that's where the ship you're talking about is.
Okay.
So
I have no idea what they're talking about.
Because I rearranged our outline into a PowerPoint.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool.
Let's move to the ships that our friends and lovely listeners submitted. We're starting with the canon ships. There are so many, it's very hard to see them all on this screen. So pick one and talk about
Kaitlynn and Vi.
Go for it, Bree.
Love
Who are
it.
They? We're not familiar. What's it from?
All right. So if you have ever played or whatnot, a video game, League of Legends, there is a series based on League of Legends called Arcane, and it was on the Netflix or is on the Netflix.
Yeah.
We're getting a season 2, and the main ship in that show is Kaitlynn and Vi. Vi being a kind of rebel type, down on her luck. And then you have Kaitlynn, who is literally like the high falutin type and is a cop. So
Nice.
You very opposites attract kind of situation, enemies to lovers type deal, except enemies to gets one kiss.
Woo!
Type deal. And like I said, we're getting season 2, so the development of that relationship throughout the series was very adorable and very well done, very well paced. And I love the scene where they reveal that Kaitlynn is queer when they're in a brothel, and Vi comes back and walks by and then sees Kaitlynn very cozy with one of the women from the brothel, and she's just like double takes and is like, excuse me, she's the gay? Well, interesting. And that's where it really starts for Vi. And of course they fall in love, but there's the whole Vi's little sister becomes a villain, spoiler alert, and she's really just being taken advantage of by the main villain. But they have to basically get their relationship is affected by the relationship between Vi and her sister, because she kind of has to choose in a way. So, but in the end, it's not a bad ending for season 1. And season 2, hopefully there'll be more adorableness to come.
All right, so we have that to look forward to. I'm going to jump to Kit and Jade. This was the #1 submitted ship by all of our listeners. So they're from the show Willow that was on Disney Plus, ran for a season, then was canceled and removed from the platform because homophobia. They're basically in this like fantasy world, and they're knights together. They're like childhood friends, and then kind of end up on opposite sides ish in like this world. Kit is like the princess of one side. Jade ends up realizing her lineage as like a leader of like a rebel group kind of thing. But in the end, they're like bound basically in such a way that like they're together. So it's like women with swords, #1. I get it. #1, women with swords. I mean, that's where it is. And like they kiss, there's an I love you. And so it's very sweet, and everybody loves them. And it was an untimely demise thanks to corporate greed that kind of ended that. So very unfortunate. And we did promise to cover this at some point. We will get there at some point, I promise. I know some of you guys are waiting for that. But yeah, they're super cute, and thank you for submitting them a lot. That show, they deserved better. So we feel that loss. Caitlin, we're just gonna go round robin.
Talking about all of them on the screen.
Yeah, pick and go.
Right, so I will do Cali in Arizona next.
I knew you were gonna do Cali in Arizona.
Well, just because I know their entire story.
I know.
Since I've just watched it all.
We'll just keep it brief.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to. We got lots to get through here. We don't want this to go on forever. Okay, so Cali in Arizona from Grey's Anatomy. Both are surgeons. We've seen Cali's journey more than Arizona. But basically, Arizona comes in as a pediatric surgeon, I believe. And eventually Callie and Arizona get together and everything is fine and dandy. And even when Callie gets pregnant with another dude's baby, Arizona's like, okay, oh, parent, even though she didn't want children. See, like, that's the way to do it. Like, I mean, they're like, yeah. And
Supergirl.
But they broke up for that long period of time where I was like, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't great. But then it went down even more once the plane crash happened. Spoiler alert.
Only in Grey's Anatomy, it all went downhill after that plane crash.
Because the plane crash, it changed Arizona's personality, like 180 for a while. And I mean, I get that she's adjusting to a lot of different things, but it just crashed their relationship. And from there, they like, I don't know if were they married at the time?
At which time?
Yeah, they did get married because they got married when Sophia was like a newborn. So they ended up after the plane crash, dealing with all of that. They move into another house and they're just like not working out. They end up splitting, living in the same house though. And eventually Callie ends up dating, I believe, the doctor who killed one of the main doctors, not intentionally, but
why is a show like this?
Yes. And this is like a very, very light version of it. Okay. So they end up moving to New York because of the other doctor's job, I believe. And so Arizona is left there and she's still in the show while Callie is written out, which I'm not over. And then eventually Arizona goes out there to be in New York to be with Callie. Oh my God, it's okay. I know what's happening because you have Callie on Arizona and Arizona on Callie. So it's confusing the shit out of my brain. It's okay. I'm sorry. That's what's going on though, just so you know. So yeah, they've had a rocky journey. I didn't really like how they ended up. And we never see them again.
So are they technically together in the end?
I think, well, they're at least co-parenting out there because, okay, so Sophia was really struggling. Sophia wanted to come back and live with Arizona. So she came back to Washington.
Yeah.
Yes, Seattle. But after like 1 year, like even a few months, she was like struggling there. So Arizona's like, the only thing, like, we need to take her back to New York and I'll just go with her. So I forget if they're actually together, but I know
they're in the same place.
Right. It sounds like they left off. They're in each other's lives kind of thing. Okay.
Nicole and Waverly.
Ooh, Wayhaught.
Yes. Wayhaught.
Best ship name. I love that ship name.
Yeah. Freaking. Okay.
I love them so much.
Winona Earp. I love the show overall and love the ship. This is like, gosh, this is an epic ship, honestly.
Yes.
Especially within the community from the jump there. I mean, she walks into that bar and is all sexy as hell.
Yes, it is.
And of course the circumstances by which that shirt gets wet, we have to
oh my God, so contrived, but whatever. I'll take it.
That's the point was it is contrived and we love it.
Yes, so we do.
They have a very long and epic relationship spanning all the seasons.
Yes.
Yes, all the seasons. All the seasons and they are just, I never stopped loving what they did with those two.
Me too.
They put a bulletproof vest on Nicole.
Yes, they did.
They made a statement about
they did.
Bury your gays and
great job, Emily Andress.
I love her, Emily.
Yes. So
hydrate for Emily. We love you, girl.
Yes. Bulletproof vest.
Yes. And that was during / right after the Clexa shit, which I will jump to next because Emily's like, we're not killing the lesbian in this show. Exactly. Just so you know. Even though she's a cop. Which, I love them. They're very sweet and wholesome, and they have a good relationship where, like, they just support each other, and it's beautiful.
Exactly.
Love them. Have read so much fan fiction about them. Just love them. All right. So, as promised, I will move over to another Titanic ship, the Ship of Dreams, the Titanic, Lex and Clark, because that ship, that was a ship of dreams. And partially, and there was fucking conventions made because of the way Alexa was done so fucking dirty in that damn show. I stopped watching after they killed her in a obvious and pointless bury your gays fashion. But if you're not familiar and you stayed away from The 100, Kaitlynn, even though the name of the fucking show is The 100, and you don't pronounce 100, 100, you pronounce it 100, whatever.
I'm sorry, that's not the name of the show.
That's how you read what's written.
That's not what they say.
But how do you read that number? 100. How do you read that?
I'm going off the proper way to say it, Theora.
No, I know. But if you're reading it, it's a number. It doesn't matter. So Clark, basically the premise of the show, the reason why there's a number, 100 people essentially are sent down from the space colony to try and re-inhabit the Earth, and they're all children because this is a YA story. And Clark is on the ship with the gang of refugees or whatever, and they end up on Earth because a nuclear explosion happened. It's hundreds of years later, and they're like, can we live? I don't know, so let's send these kids. So the kids get there and try to like Lord of the Flies this situation where they're trying to like figure out how to live here. Meanwhile, people have been there the whole fucking time, and the people are led by Lexa, who's in charge of everything. And so Clark and Lexa, like leaders of their people, end up in this political scheme with each other, and they end up falling in love is like the main point. And it's epic, and Lexa's devotion to Clark is beautiful. Clark's devotion to Lexa, the entire show, even after she's killed, like that was her OTP in the end, because they were really fucked up with killing her, which was really stupid. Their relationship is so beautiful and stupid. I forget how great it is, and then I'll go back and just watch compilation videos of them, and I'm like, that's why it hurts so bad. For me, the reason I loved them so much as a ship was because it was like the first time I ever saw like a sapphic couple or a queer couple, really, where they were both like they were both on equal footing. Like there was really no power imbalance between the two of them. They were both leaders in their own right, respected in their own right. And like, I loved that about them. They were just both really strong women who independently kind of like they found that kinship in each other because of like, you know, they were both leaders and like had a lot of responsibility and other people's lives weighing on them, and were in these impossible situations, and they still found a way to like love each other despite all of that stuff. So I just really loved their relationship. It was so beautiful, and the killing of Lexa was so fucking stupid. I'll never be over it. I understand I was there with the outrage. It was fucking stupid. I remember watching it and just laughing and being like, are you serious right now? This can't be real. This can't be real. And it was real, and it was fucking stupid.
I didn't go to work the next day. I was so like I was so depressed after that, and for me, Clark is the exact kind of character that I fall in love with instantly. That person that everyone that is like, oh wait, everybody's just all of a sudden like following me because I am apparently didn't even know it, but I'm the leader, and is just so stoic but emotional when needed, and just the way that those two related to one another, because oh god, the line that they have when they finally do get together is like, maybe when your people and my people no longer need us, we can have what we want, which is each other. Motherfucker Rottenberg.
Okay, yeah, that line, but what kills me is before that whole bedroom scene is when I couldn't even let them have this. Is when Lexa is literally about to be like, because I love you. And she's like, because you're you.
Yep.
Like that killed me. Like that is the best way to say I love you ever. Cause it's like, it's Lexa admitting that like, I love you for exactly who you are. I'm not trying to change you, which is what everybody else was trying to do to Clark.
Yep.
And like all that stuff. She's like, I just love exactly who you are. And like, they couldn't even let her fucking say it, man, after they knew they were going to kill her off. And it's the fucking bullshit. It's the same recipe as the Tara Willow shit, because they literally finally just get together. They finally do the thing. 3 minutes later, stray bullet kills Lexa. Same thing happened to Tara. 3 minutes later, they're all happy. Stray bullet kills her. It's the same fucking recipe, and it pissed me the fuck off. But yeah, I was like, I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending then, and I fucking hate it now. So
it was tragic, and we hate it.
But they are a Titanic ship for me because they will live on in infamy. Because it was a once in a lifetime ship. And it's the ship of dreams. That's what we all wanted and we're looking for. And it was fucking sunk by a goddamn iceberg.
I'm sorry. The show didn't exist after they did that.
Nope. Did not at all. Even when fucking Lexa comes back in the City of Light or whatever. I'm
did I watch it?
Still not Lexa. Did I watch
Do I accept it?
Absolutely. No, fuck that. Exactly.
Season 4 was my favorite season.
No.
I didn't watch it beyond that. I watched the City of Light scenes. And that was the end of it.
But the thing is, remember, I'm not watching any of this live. So
the whole show was problematic, to be honest.
Sure was.
But I have a crack ship for that show.
What is it?
That I've just forgot, but now I remember. Octavia and Raven.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew
it. That's a good one. I'm more for Raven and Clark's mom. I'm here for that ship.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I
love that ship.
Oh, my God. That one, too.
That ship.
Oh, that one was good.
Because I did like Octavia and Lincoln. They were a cute ship. I like them. He was done dirty. But
they did him so dirty. That was
so dirty.
Like, yes. That was another problematic thing that they did.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Raven and her mom.
Raven and Octavia, Raven and Clark's mom. I'm here for that.
Raven had chemistry with everyone.
Yeah, Raven.
She's like the Tally Craven of the show.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh yes, I forgot about the Clark's mom thing. Like, I ship that one too.
I ship them hard.
I have to say, I only know one more of these ships.
Oh, I actually have another one, unless it's the one you're thinking. Go.
No, I mean, I only know. I'm saying of the ships left on the slide.
I have one more crack ship.
Go ahead.
And it's basically based off of actually not. It's Raven and Anya.
Oh yeah, that is one as well. Yeah.
That's a good one. I loved Anya. I love that actress. The actress who plays Anya. She's great. But those two, yes, please.
Yeah.
Raven with everybody.
Raven with everybody.
It's like Callie.
Yeah, it's like Callie.
With everybody.
All right, Bree, pick your next ship. Unless you're got something.
Wait, hold on. Let me pick one of these first.
Yeah, you
go. So I'll do Lena and Steph next, unless that's the one you know.
No, the one I know is Root and Shaw.
I figured, yeah, go.
All right,
go.
I'll do Lena and Steph since I think I'm the only one who really knows it. Yes. So Lena and Steph are from the Fosters. Lena is, I believe, a caseworker in the beginning, but becomes a principal at the high school. Steph is a cop. They are wives, I think, from the very beginning. And then they renew their vows in the middle of the show. But they are foster parents. They adopted 2 kids, and then Steph has 1 kid from another marriage. She was married to a guy. And then they have new foster kids that they didn't really want, but they kind of got forced to have. And so basically it's just them being very domestic the whole time, dealing with normal life. And this was basically one of the first representations I saw because, again, this was around the same time as Pretty Little Liars. So I just saw like 2 women married together and just living their life with a family. And just, I don't think I understood at the time how important it was for me to see that, even though it didn't register that much, but it was so normal in their life, and it was never a big thing for them.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. I remember the premise when this first came out, like, the whole premise was a very big deal, like you're saying. And it's important to see, like, again, queer relationships in all the facets, including just married and navigating life.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Bree, do you want to go to shoot?
Yep. So shoot. Haha. I want to be completely 100% with everyone. I basically skipped everything in Person of Interest except for their story because was not interested.
I was not interested. I have a wife started watching the show and I was like, what's this?
Yes, exactly what happened to me. I was like, I'll watch it because it has Amy Acker and Sarah Shahi. So start watching the show, and then after a while I'm like bored of the show but want more of them.
Yes.
So anyway, their storyline is also one of those tragic epic type things.
Yeah.
Where you can tell that they should be together, but they just keep not being together for reasons. Good reasons, but still reasons that I don't agree with. And in the end, there's a whole like the scene where she's basically in a simulation and
yeah, the happy episode.
Yeah. Where Shaw's in a simulation basically, and she's like about to kill herself, and then Root's like, listen, bitch. Don't be doing that. And then she's like, well, if that's the case, it's just a really good scene. Just go, you don't have to watch Person of Interest. Just look up the compilation of their scene. Watch that.
So good.
All right, sounds
great. Just go watch that. It's great. And I will say the thing, so Root and Shaw are like enemies to lovers.
Yes, enemies to lovers.
What makes them beautiful and wonderful and amazing is that it wasn't planned.
Mm-hmm.
They were written into the show because the actors had such great chemistry. The writers were like, let's explore this. And boom, an epic, beautiful, organic ship was born.
Exactly.
Into canon because they had the balls or the ovaries or whatever to actually explore these actors that had crazy chemistry. And they're epic. Another Titanic ship. They were fucking epic, and I just love them. They've got all the things. They're playful, and they're, I love them.
The sarcasm, the playfulness, the badassery, women that can kick ass.
Fucking everything. I love Shoot. Them. So much fan fiction I've read about them. They're so fun. I will knock out the last two, starting with Thaisa and Van from Yellow Jackets.
You're like, you take too long to explain.
I'm just gonna go real quick. So we will get into the Yellow Jackets at some point when the strike is over. I very much promise. But basically, premise of the show is that the soccer team gets stranded due to a plane crash in the woods, and Thaisa and Van are on the team and are dating before the plane crash. So like, they're not out, but they're together. And things happen when they're young, and we don't know the full story yet. But I anticipate at some point they break up, and then when they're older, kind of get reunited when things start happening. But they're really cute and really supportive of each other as kids through this crazy tragic event.
Even though Van shouldn't be alive, but that's another story.
Yeah, I mean, none of them should be alive. But Van is played by what's the actor's name? Liv, who is I
believe.
Who's a non-binary actor who's fucking awesome. I love everything that they're in. And they have great chemistry together. So thank you for suggesting this ship and telling me the ship name. I never heard their ship name before. Ivan, they're cute in adult and childlike form. Mm-hmm. And the last ship is one of my all-time favorites, and that's Greta and Carson from A League of Their Own, played by Abby Jacobson and Darcy Carden, who are like best friends in real life. And you can tell that they have a lot of trust in each other as actors. And they're basically the central ship intentionally in the A League of Their Own show. We have Greta, who's like the femme fatale, who's like conforming hardcore to femininity and what it means to be a woman in the 1940s to hide the fact that she's queer as fuck. And then you have Carson, who finds out that she's queer along this journey when she meets Greta and gay panics and questions everything in her life. And they're just fun because they go through all the at least Carson goes through the stage of just figuring her stuff out. Mm-hmm. They're very supportive of each other for not just this, but because they're playing baseball together. And there's other reasons that they're banding together, but the chemistry is just great. Like, these two are great friends, like the actors in real life, and it shows. And I don't want them to be a Titanic ship because they fucking canceled the goddamn show when they're like, will they, won't they situation. But what we have of them is really beautiful. There's many scenes of just them being in love and cute and living their life. And I love that about them. And all the queers in that show are all. You can fill up an entire slide with just that show, but we're gonna highlight just them.
I do love them.
They're great. Continue writing fan fiction, people.
Yeah, keep writing fan fiction to keep us all alive. And
not everyone we've talked about.
Speaking of fan fiction, let's move over to the ships that only live in fan fiction, which is the crack ships from our viewers. Who wants to go first?
Okay, you go first.
Okay.
Guess who I'm gonna pick?
Halder.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay,
go.
Cool. So, Tally and Sarah from Motherland, Fort Salem. The ship that was just obvious. Because look at the way they look at each other.
The Kim
history. Can we explain this scene for people who may not understand what they're looking at? Okay. So Tally has a dream. And in the dream, we get sexy as fuck Sarah Alder in Tally's dream.
It's like the first time we've seen her hair down.
Correct. Slinging whiskey. Being hot as fuck. And then she's caressing Tally's face and they're inches apart from each other. This is Tally's dream. So she's conjuring all this image of Sarah acting like this, which says a lot about Tally. And so from this scene, a ship was born because, girl, what you dreaming about?
The photo on the screen is of Alder having her hand on Tally's cheek. Okay? This isn't photoshopped. This is an actual photo.
This is the scene from Tally's dream. There's no heterosexual explanation for the way this dream went down, and Miss Tally grieving.
Another scene is when Tally's looking in the mirror, and it's like literally has her hand on her boobs, and just Sarah just walks in, like everything where it should be.
Oh yeah, that was the thing that happened. So I'm here for this ship. I'm here for Tally with
fan fiction from that scene. Ooh.
There's so much fan fiction, and for good reason. Look at them;
they're great.
Age gap. I'm here for age gaps that are not. Teacher
power dynamics, because Sarah lets Tally, so Alder, but Sarah, lets Tally get away with this is so much shit. The way that she talks to her should never be allowed.
But here we are.
They're so great.
Here we are.
Bree,
Yelena and Kate. Listen, we can eliminate. This is one of those other ones where I didn't need to watch the rest of the show. I came for Yelena and I stayed for both of them, just because I love the character and I love the actor, and then these two together. You see them on screen and just watch their scenes. Watch their scenes. It's bananas. It's Marvel. We've got a Black Widow.
Hawkeye. Yeah,
it's Hawkeye. So you've got Kate Bishop, who is kind of like the not understudy. What am I trying to say? The student, shall we say, of Hawkeye. The next archer
prodigy.
The next prodigy of Marvel goodness, and then you have one of the Black Widows, which was come on, Natasha's sister, Yelena, who is, I mean, if you didn't see Black Widow, that whole movie is worth watching just for her scenes, but the whole thing I enjoyed very much. But these two have the humor, the physical comedy. Like, I didn't expect that to be such a delightful aspect of their scenes together. And the chemistry is just insane. So 10 out of 10, love them.
I am not a huge Marvel fan, but I am someone who saw the GIF of them staring at each other on a roof. And I was like, how do I watch whatever this is? And went and watched the whole show because these two were staring at each other on a roof with weapons. Here we are.
It was my favorite Marvel show. I just like Haley in general killed it, and like Haley. Those two together were great. But Haley, I love her.
And yes, I have written fan fiction about them. It's probably one of the
wonderful fan fiction.
I'm most proud of is the two of them. Mostly because I want to see these actors play love interests because they're really good together.
Please.
Kate also asked her out for drinks in the middle of the show, like when they're fighting. So like the date has been proposed. But there are some people out there who argue against shipping them because there's an argument that Yelena is like an ace character in like the comic canon, which I don't know how, like, I don't know if that's really been confirmed. I think it has been maybe confirmed or mentioned as a possibility by some of the writers of the comic books. So I get that. For me, it's more about I like these actors.
Yeah, it's the actors.
And I think they're compelling characters because it's like enemies to lovers kind of thing at the crack ship. And they have things in each other that are complementary to one another. So I love that about them. I will pick... I'll just go over the 2 Stranger Things ships that are on here. Thank you for submitting them. So there's Robin and Nancy and Steve and Eddie. And basically in the very last season of Stranger Things that came out, this is new members of like the kid gang. Basically, Robin is actually like a lesbian canonically in the show. Nancy's been there the whole time. Steve's been there the whole time. And Eddie is like a new character for the last season. Just go watch them. Both of these people have crazy chemistry with each other and their actual love interests. I'm here for them. Let's make it queer because it reads as such. Just look at them staring at each other. But they're fun. I like them. They're like the parents of the group. And so like let the dads be dads, let the moms be moms. That's all I'm saying.
Bree, do you know both of these other shows or only one?
Or there's 3 more.
There's 3 more? Oh shit. Well, the one
I know Kara and Lena, and I know Jess and Lupe, but I don't know the backstory of the crack ship.
All right, so I will do Wednesday and Enid then.
Oh, I know them too, but
okay. I just wanted to figure out which one I should do.
Yeah,
whichever. Take your pick.
Okay, so Wednesday and Enid. Oh,
I love
roommates
this ship.
To lovers. That not actually, but like in our heads.
In our heads, yes.
So Wednesday gets sent to. Is it a boarding school?
It's a boarding school, right? Sure.
Yeah. It is.
And she's given this very peppy roommate who's completely opposite of her. And they go through this whole thing. They become closer. Enid gets Wednesday's personality out of her more. Gets her to like basically willingly stay at the school. And they're going to end up together one day.
I agree.
There is another season. I don't know when that's going to happen, but
there is.
They hug.
Yeah. It's like Wednesday showed the most amount of affection for Enid out of everybody.
Exactly.
Even the love interest she had.
Even the love interest.
Oh, I forgot there was a love interest.
There's a love interest, but personally, like I like them together, but also at the same time, from like Wednesday Addams was never romantically involved or had any inclinations of romance ever in the work that precedes this. So like she's often read as like an asexual character. So like in a way, I kind of like wish they would have stuck with that.
Yeah, well, maybe they still will.
They could, but now that Netflix is like, this is the new Stranger Things, we have to keep heads watching. I don't think they will.
They're not going to.
Even though that's why they had a male love interest immediately. It's like Wednesday is not a romantic character. Like she very much reads as an asexual character. So like that kind of made me mad that they did that. And I'm like, if you're gonna do it, make her queer at least, and like give her.
I mean, Jenna Ortega's for it.
Who wouldn't be? But yeah.
So yeah, I say don't give Wednesday a love interest. And if you do, it should be Enid. End of story.
All right, so let's move on. I'll do Jess and Lupe from A League of Their Own. Is it a crack ship? I don't know. I'm here for the 2 of them because they're hermanos. They're the best. You have mask presenting lesbians / Jess. I don't know. You can always read Jess as like a non-binary kind of character. Which is even better. And I want them to co-parent Esty because they basically do anyway in the show.
They should, yeah.
And that's where the ship came from. They're co-parenting Esty, and it's just they're a happy little cute little family. So I'm here for Jess Lupe. I'm a big fan of that ship. I also just individually love each of those characters for me. And I would, if I can't have them, let them have each other and co-parent Esty. That's all I'm saying.
You did. That reminded me of the storyline because I kind of drifted to the back of my mind. But yeah, now I remember. Yes, they did co-parent.
So let's bring it home with Supercorp.
Oh, geez. Here we go.
The crack ship of crack ships.
The crack ship of crack ships. It's like stands above the rest as the queen of crack ships. Talk about being baited for how many years?
I never saw it.
What?
Maybe I'm blind. I mean, I just don't ship them. So maybe I just chose like not to see it.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, I see the vision. I see it. I get it. Kara's way too. They're way too.
Kara's very like that with a lot of people, though.
Not I mean, maybe not to that extent. Lena isn't, though.
Lena isn't. Yeah.
So it's weird that she's always and like is more herself
gravitating. Yeah.
Fairness. Yeah. So that's where it is. Like they're constantly in each other's orbit, even though they shouldn't be. So it's got like enemies to lovers stuff.
Did we mention this is from Supergirl yet?
Kara and Lena from Supergirl. Supergirl. I love their fanfiction too.
I said Supergirl, so
okay.
Supergirl and listen. Yeah, so Lena Luthor.
Ooh,
let's just also they're just beautiful people.
There's that too.
And they're beautiful together. So right. I was for it, but the show turned me off after a while. So
yeah, me too. Me too. I got once the Monel shit started happening, I couldn't with the show anymore.
Exactly.
Because they destroyed Supergirl at the expense of this man. And I was like,
exactly.
I can't keep watching this.
Thank you.
Especially when you start the show with, oh my God, who runs Cat who runs Cat Court or whatever?
Yes.
You can't start with her, who's like, she should be in a ship because like, damn, you can't start with that woman, have her leave, and then give us a man as a replacement. I don't think so.
There's so also a ship with her and Carl, Cat and Carl.
Yeah, there was.
But vision.
Mono. Let's not. He doesn't exist for me. So
yeah, no, that was terrible.
I can do Supercorp. I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. Love it.
All
Make
right.
it gay. Make things gayer.
I mean, I'm all for it being gay. I'm just like, it's not one of my favorites.
Yeah, totally fair.
Totally fair. All right, cool. So to conclude this, we just want to say thank you to all the fans. And thank you also for giving us, if your ship wasn't mentioned, it's because their ships we're not familiar with enough to talk about. So we were given many, many ships, and now we have new ships.
No, I know Hope and Josie. I shipped them for hardcore. Oh, okay. I hardcore watch Legacies for them.
Someone didn't tell us that soon enough.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I guess. Do you want to tell us?
Hosey, listen, this was tragic that they did not just follow through with this because it was so obvious and so there that, oh my God, they like even have that scene where Josie talks about how she had a crush on Hope when they were kids. And then they're like, oh, really? And then they just fucking didn't do anything with it.
That is some bullshit. I understand why everybody's mad.
Gave Josie a dumb love interest. And Josie's first love interest was okay. I liked her. And she left for a good reason. She was like, listen, you are like not in the place where we can do this. And I am in a place where I would need you to actually commit. So TTFN. So at least they ended that one well, but they screwed Hosey over. Just saying. The end.
Very sad.
Very sad.
Obviously, there's like way too many ships to actually. I'm sure we missed so many because we can't talk about all of them. I mean, there's even more in the show that I went off about in the last episode. But anyway, there's also just one more. I promise, not much. Grey's Anatomy, season 19, Yasuda and Helm, they finally got together and I'm so happy. That's it. Go watch it.
Oh yeah, and watch the non-binary character. I love the non-binary character. I watched the scenes with them in it.
Oh yeah, for those two as well.
Those two. I loved that. Anyway, go on. Next.
But yeah, there are many, many ships we can talk about. So I want to thank you guys for submitting these ships, excluding Hosey, that Bree's familiar with. So Sam and Mon from Gap the Series. We will be covering Gap the Series, we promise. So we are going to get to know this ship. Ellie and Dina from The Last of Us. I anticipate this ship will show up in the next season of the actual television show. So we will absolutely 100% talk about this ship when it happens on the screen. But if you're into the ship or want to know more about it, please come to our Discord, because a friend of ours wrote a literal essay about them that's beautiful and amazing. So go read it. And Blake and Yang from RWBY, which I wasn't familiar with. So thank you for introducing us to new ships that we can start shipping, because there's a lot of them and we could never talk about all of them, like Kaitlynn said, but we did our very, very best to at least give an intro or an explanation about ships, our favorite ones, your favorite ones, and everything in between. So before we sign out for today, it is time to hydrate for Lesbian Jesus. So how much would you hydrate for ships?
1,000! Woohoo!
All the water in the ocean.
Yes, all the water on Earth in general, because they have kept me alive.
So may your ship stay afloat with this hydration for Lesbian Jesus.
Woohoo! I've got my ship on. I've got a ship on my water bottle.
Got a ship on your ship. So thank you, everybody. I hope you learned something. I hope you had fun. Like Kaitlynn said, we absolutely missed ships because we could. Yes. There's not enough time to do this. So if we missed one, or you
come in the Discord and talk to us about it.
Yes, come in the Discord, talk to us, hit us up on social media. We appreciate you. For everybody that participated with their ships or what they love about ships. Yes, thank you. This episode wouldn't be possible without you. So thank you, everybody. So keep on shipping, and until next time, hydrate for Lesbian Jesus
and gay it up all over the place. Bye.
Bye. And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all our other episodes right here on YouTube. Please leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing, super gay content.
If you'd like to support us, check out our merch store, or join our Patreon for early access to episodes, exclusive content, and so much more.
Until next time, stay safe and hydrate for Lesbian Jesus.